Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. You can call me Grim, and I'm here with
Dr. Mambo.
and
Dr. Mambo.
I was like, he's gonna call himself Grim.
I mean, you have to after seeing.
Are
the
you saying
movie.
you directed this movie?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying my name. I'm saying you can call me Grim. It's my skater name, bro. All right. Well, we're back with another episode for everyone today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. If you ever want to shoot us some feedback, Eliz, where can people do that?
Yeah, you can send us an email, sequelrights@gmail.com, or reach out on social media on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And we're heading into a new franchise, which means we just wrapped up an old franchise with the Herbie movies. We loved them. If you were listening to them, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you liked one of our Herbie episodes, we'd really appreciate it. We really loved doing that series. And yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys thought about it.
Yeah, in fact, before we move into the new series we're talking about, we did get an email in from listener Joseph from London. And, you know, whenever people email in, we like to try to read a little bit of them out on the podcast here. Joseph said, great episode, Herbie episode, guys. As a lifelong Love Bug fan, I have been very interested to hear the views of the uninitiated. Certainly us hardcore fans would be aghast at your low opinion of the first two sequels. I know Monte Carlo isn't very funny, but the locations are nice, and there's Dean and racing.
That's true.
He mentioned a lot of things, but I thought one of the interesting points he brings up, he probably had just listened to the episode on the Love Bug 97. He said the biggest issue lots of fans had with the Love Bug 97 was the complete change in the look of Herbie. Did you guys notice this out of interest? Namely, the 53 fonts and placements of the graphics, which I realize sounds OCD, but you know what fans can be like. It's a shame they didn't stick with the original look. I did not.
We definitely noticed. I definitely noticed that it was different, but you know, it's the '90s. They're updating it. They had the scene where the artist is doing the hand painting when they're redoing it. Like, that's just what happens when you drag franchises into modernity.
Yeah.
People think that they have to do their riff on it, and sometimes that's cool, and sometimes it's not great. And this, it didn't bother me so much. Like, I was like, that's just what you have to do. Yeah. But I also think that that's a jadedness that comes from watching a new sequel every week.
That's right. We're ruining
and
ourselves.
It's like, I've seen worse.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he leaves the email out saying, how about doing the RoboCop franchise sometime? So there you go.
I would love to do RoboCop.
There's a suggestion for us. Thanks for writing in, Joseph, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know what, guys? We've been, like we said last week, social distancing, and we decided to go just lean hard into that theme. Like, we're going
right on the nose.
That's right.
Right on the nose.
Everyone's stuck at home. Everyone's got cabin fever, like we said last week, and that's what we're talking about this week. 2002's Eli Roth directed Cabin Fever.
I feel nauseous. Well, it's not funny. Can you help me?
No. She's not coming near me. You're crossed.
You guys gonna kill each other now?
You don't look so hot. Help me. I need a doctor. I don't want to get sick. I don't want any of us getting sick.
We just don't want to get
it. Man, sounds like they're having a good time at the old cabin in the woods.
No, not to be confused with Cabin in the Woods.
Exactly.
Yeah, not to be confused with Evil Dead.
Yes. Not to be confused with every other movie about cabins in the woods.
Yep.
So I feel like we thought we were being super clever by choosing this because of the title Cabin Fever, but they really don't have cabin fever at all. Like, they literally is a fever in a cabin.
So by that definition, they do have cabin fever.
They have some form of cabin fever. I knew it wasn't about people going crazy because they're like
they
cut
don't
off from-
figuratively have cabin fever. They
literally have cabin fever. Yes.
Yeah.
And when you go on the nose, you also want to go literal. That's shows that you're the cleverest.
Also, if you can't find a song for the end of the episode, you should just play Cabin Fever from Muppet Treasure Island, which is a masterpiece.
It is an amazing song.
I think I'll be able to find something.
I know, I'm just kidding.
We can talk about that later.
But every time we've said Cabin Fever since last week, I just think of like we got Cabin Fever from like Muppets. So
that could be a great option though. One of these maybe we'll have some bad music that we can't figure out something for.
Oh, I bet we will.
Oh yeah. Well, so have any of you guys seen this movie before?
I had not.
nope.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm the only one this time. I saw it back when it came out, and I remember vividly certain scenes that we'll get to.
Yeah.
Tyler and I weren't old enough.
Correct.
We probably rented this somehow. I feel like maybe I didn't see it in theaters. So
yeah, although this was the time that I was going to like Cinevegas and the film festival, and I was going to see like Takashi Miike movies and things like that. So like I wasn't like or Mike, but like I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't.
I wasn't going to correct you.
Yeah. I can guarantee you in 2002 I called him Takashi Miike.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, although I've never been of like the super torture porn. Yeah, I was definitely too young to see this movie in 2002, I'm sure.
I think I thought that I liked his movies for some reason, but then I feel like I was just confusing him with like other movies that are close to the torture porn genre, like the Saw series and stuff, but not quite. Like they have more of a thinking element to the torture, I guess. And this is like just the torture. So, and that because then when I looked at his filmography, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen any of these movies. I don't know like what I was thinking about. We just watch horror movies so much. So I just think, like,
yeah.
Well, I was like, it's not Hostile, like
yeah,
that's super torturing.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I love the conceit if you're making a low budget horror film is that people get a disease that make them die in more gruesome ways.
Yeah,
it's like that turn their limbs into props, basically.
Yeah. So it looks like the movie was actually so it played at TIFF in 2002 and was actually released in theaters in 2003. So just to correct. So, but yeah, this was I believe this was his first movie. No, yes,
I think that's correct.
Yeah,
I think major one. Yeah.
And yeah, I remember this is the first time I had ever heard of him, and then proceeded to go see Hostel when that came out as well. But yeah, what do you guys think of this as a debut movie for Eli Roth?
I think it's very much on brand, and I think for a low budget horror movie from like of 2002 when like that genre was kicking off and everything else, like I can see why it's made a name for him and made a name for this type of movie and everything else. Like I thought that there was a lot of parts where I was like, this is fucking gross. Like,
well, yeah.
And I thought all the characters were dumb and mean, but I think that's also the point of the movie.
Yeah, I thought that if I was, I mean, I did sort of know, but if I was specifically being like, how is this as debut as a director? Like, I would be like, this person obviously has a lot of talent, but like, they got to get their head right, And I don't know enough about his future movies to know if he ever does. I guess we'll see. But there's just so much like so many things that are like offensive and just immature and like, and obviously he was pretty young when this came out, but like, yeah, I hope some of these things, like with time and age and just becoming more worldly, hopefully he has moved away from.
At the same time, this movie was about 20 years ago, and so like there's a lot of movies from that time that have aged very poorly, very quickly. And I think that there is some element of that to this, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, the movie looks old as fuck right now, watching it back again. And honestly, yeah, I don't remember, seeing it when it came out. I, was younger and stupider, and I didn't even, have any recollection of all the offensive stuff that I go back and watching it now and go, oh my God, what is going on in this movie?
Yeah.
But I also read a lot that he's like a Quentin Tarantino and David Lynch are like his mentors and stuff. And it's like, yeah, they have movies that are older that have some offensive stuff, but not stuff that's just like stupid and offensive, like just like calling people gay for no reason or just calling people retards or just, really horrible depictions of women. Some, yes, of course, but like not just in a less crass way. It just to me smacks of like immaturity and just like inexperience and not realizing like, oh, anybody could see this and like, not taking those views into account, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like any fun cabin in the woods story, we start with a group of 5. Was it? Is it 5 or 6?
5.
5 lovely teenagers on their way to, or college students, I don't know. College students, I guess.
Yeah, college students, because she yells at a kid and says, "Don't go to college, it's a fucking scam."
Oh, that's right.
But some of them have known each other for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
They're on their way out to some Airbnb they rented out in the woods.
On Bunyan Mountain.
Yeah.
More importantly, when you have a long road trip ahead, you got to remember to pack your Game Boy Advance.
Yes, there was a Game Boy Advance that I was very excited to see.
That was hilarious.
And it was like, damn, 2002 was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, man. We get, common, if you've seen Cabin in the Woods, that in any of those types of horror movies, that on the way they got to stop at the, some ominous hillbilly rest stop right on the way to the
ominous
place.
Hillbilly exposition stop.
Yep. And this one is extra hilarious, I think.
Yep. There's a bitey boy.
Yeah.
There's...
I love that. This is a moment that I totally did not remember at all, and it's one of the like craziest things in the movie that I'm like, what is going on with this?
Dennis, who has very, very long hair, who at first I was like, is that a little girl? And then when they started calling him Dennis, I was like, oh, okay. But he bites Sean's hand off practically.
Yeah. I love it.
Paul,
the dad comes out and he's like, everybody knows not to sit next to Dennis. What are you doing? You fucking idiot.
But I did like that they were like, maybe you should put up a sign, and then later he does in fact put up a sign that says, do not sit next to Dennis. I already called Ryder Strong Sean on accident. I think you already said that you're not a Boy Meets World
I am not
person.
I watched Boy Meets World.
Okay.
I didn't.
So Ryder Strong is our main character. His name's Paul. Obviously, Sean is his name in Boy Meets World, and Boy Meets World had ended in 2000. So probably he went straight from there to filming this. This came out wide in 2002, so it probably, he still looks pretty young. I mean, he by the end of Boy Meets World, they were all playing like in college already, right. And like maybe they were about that age too, but like obviously they aged them in that, and in this they downplayed their age a little bit, but I think in the beginning they try to do a bunch of like save the cat type things that make you be like, oh, he's our main character. We like him. He's nice. He's petting random dogs. He doesn't get mad at Dennis for biting him. He, I don't know. Seems less racist than the others.
He's the nice guy trying to get the girl.
He is 23.
Trying to get out of the friend zone. Yeah.
Okay. So just about there.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was fine. His character just becomes horrible as the movie goes on, but I mean, it starts off strong, I guess.
There's not one character, and I mean, I'm sure it was probably by design, but like you feel like in a lot of these movies, there's eventually one character that you're like rooting for to win or survive or whatever, and all the characters in this are terrible. They're all assholes. They all yell, and I mean, we swear on the podcast too, but they don't need to. They swear like every other word, it seems like, in this movie, unnecessarily.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm sure he was trying to say like, I'm not on that kids show anymore. Like I'm an adult. Look at me. I'm in this scary movie, and all the kid stars or young adults that are on shows like that for a long time, they either try to stick with it or just go away or try to do this, like, split away from what they were doing before. And I mean, he definitely split away from it. I don't know
Yeah.
how successful it was in the long run, but
I do. It wasn't.
It's like, I don't know what he's up to nowadays, but
well, he was on Girl Meets World.
oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah,
And he
so he
did.
broke away.
I think he's mostly doing voiceover now.
He totally broke away.
Yeah.
That's cool. No, I thought he was fine in this movie. Actually, I think like honestly, the acting isn't terrible. I feel like everyone is doing their role well. Like even the guy who's screaming and annoying the whole time, like he's doing a good job of being that dude.
Yeah, I don't think it's the acting. I feel like it's more just their like dialogue or their character that is just bad.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I think that the first hermit that they run into, his acting is pretty bad.
Henry the Hermit. Well, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to do very much, but I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
But yeah, there was like a cold open, or not cold open because the credits come first, but there was like an opening scene where that guy comes upon his dog and he's like trying to feed it this fox, and I'm like, dude, that dog is dead. But he's like, come on, buddy, wake up, here's some food. And then he's like, oh,
I know.
you're dead.
I was like, he's so obviously dead.
There's like
Yeah.
blood everywhere, and he's just like, wake up, buddy, I brought you some food.
Oh
Yeah.
God, his insides are gone. Yeah.
They're all goopy.
That was really funny. I did kind of like that opening though. It's like the music there is really tense and creepy in the opening titles, and then I do like that. He was clearly trying to go for like these 70s horror vibes in this movie,
Yep.
and I do feel like he kind of succeeded at that. And so I kind of liked that feeling of like the lake shot, and then this weird dude walking in the woods, and just the creepy music, and very unsettling. Like you don't know yet what's happening, and I thought that was a good little cold open moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a portion, but not all, of the score is by Angelo Badalamenti from Twin Peaks and all the other David Lynch collaborations.
Yeah, you can tell, particularly in one scene, exactly which music is his. In the love moment, which
Yes.
was really kind of gross. There, I watched some of the behind the scenes, and in that thing he was talking about how like one of the main themes I contributed was called the love theme, or the red love theme, or the red love blood theme, and then he's like, or what we like to call the finger bang misfire, and I was like, oh God. That's so
Wait, Eli Roth said that, or Angelo?
Angelo said that in the behind the scenes, and then he plays it on piano while they like show him doing it.
Alrighty.
So
Yeah,
hey, that's
I mean,
the name of the cue, I guess.
This is where writer Sean Strong, his character, goes from like, okay, maybe he's good to real rapey very quickly.
Oh,
Yeah, I kept like, it seemed like she could tell he was doing something, but I was like, I'm gonna need her to open her eyes or start kissing him or something to indicate that she is awake and aware of what's happening. And it definitely did not happen until he started screaming.
Yeah.
So that
not
is
cool.
a very gross scene for multiple reasons. But that's a big turning point in the movie. What else happens before that, though? We get,
they completely alienate themselves from the shop owners by being complete assholes and then stealing a Snickers bar.
Yeah. And we get that horrible, I don't even know if you guys want to mention it. I guess I mentioned it now. The shopkeeper has that, you think he's horribly racist.
The whole racist switcheroo is what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which when it comes back at the end, I was like, what?
It just means that the shopkeeper's not racist, but the director and writer are.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird.
He says basically like, oh, these things are for hunting season or whatever, and they're like, what about that rifle? And he's like, that's for the N words or whatever, and it's like, oh, come on, man.
And then they're all like, you racist pieces of shit, like we're getting out of here. And at the end of the movie, they tip their hat to this because then there's there's a music hit of
like horrible
so
hip-hop
bad
music.
Yeah, a bunch of hip hop music comes in, and then this group of black friends comes in, and they're picking up the rifle that this guy restored for them, I guess.
Yeah,
is the joke.
And it's not. This movie is weird. It's clearly like trying to be funny at certain points, but I feel like none of the jokes really land.
I mean, tonally, it was just so all over the place. Like, it's one thing to be like, horror movie with some comic relief moments. It's another thing to just not know what the deal is. And just like you get whiplash, you're like, I don't know what's happening.
It's really odd. I mean, like, even the fact that, like, Eli Roth was like good friends with, I think he was friends with David Lynch, and that's how he got Angelo to do the score. And I do feel like having his score and even some moments in the movie do have kind of a weird Twin Peaksy vibe to them, like like the weird deputy guy and the
lady killing the pig.
Yeah, and like the later moment with Dennis, that is just like, what is going on right now?
But it's like there's not enough of it to be like, okay, that's what this is.
Yeah,
but so it's weird.
Yeah,
it's there. It's like it's not all of one thing. It's trying to be a lot of different things, and it succeeds in kind of being its own thing. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if that thing necessarily works, but I think it could have worked in 2002. But watching it with 2020 eyes, I'm like, I don't know about much of this.
What state does this take place in again?
Who knows?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can figure that out.
Well, it doesn't matter, but my main point is that this backwoods convenience store on the way to the cabin is fully stocked with Arrogant Bastard from Stone Brewery in San Diego.
I did notice that. They're walking out with those boxes, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
They provided a lot of promotional consideration, apparently, according to the credits, but yeah, it's they make a bet to only drink beer and not drink anything else for the rest of the weekend, which it turns out is a very smart choice.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I was like, that seems like something that people like this would actually do. That felt like a very real moment to me. Like, all right, I bet you I can't drink anything other than beer. Yeah, I thought that was funny. This is the moment where we get the introduction to my namesake for the episode. Grim shows up to totally face everybody.
What does that mean? Is that a slang word that people knew?
Yeah, it was like a slang for when someone totally made fun of you so hard, like, ripped you a new one kind of thing. Like, oh man, you've been faced.
Like you gotta face the music? Or I'm facing you.
You're
you've been burned. You got burned. It was like that. Like, oh shit, you got burned, and it was like faced. Yeah, just like how he does.
I just don't know why.
I think it's just.
Okay.
I think it's from in your face.
Scratch moded.
Scratch moded. That
you're like. Know. I think it's like if you're a DJ and like I'm treating you like a record. Like I'm disrespecting you. I'm scratching you.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like Urban Dictionary has a bunch of different things for faced, but the one I think it is the act of telling someone off or completely humiliating them.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy just comes to like be weird and like to see the fact that there's an angry dog around.
Yeah, it was super weird. I mean, it's just like a Eli Roth cameo thing, and then he gets to be later put up in cool like half body makeup.
Yeah. And he's also in the movie as like when they're all telling ghost stories, right?
Oh yeah. That was a weird that's another totally weird moment in the movie. Like where Ryder Strong's character is like talking about this bowling alley he used to go to when he was a kid, and like one night some guy broke in and tied up all the employees and hit him over the head with a ball peen hammer and made him all watch. And there's these weird, like, avant-garde type flashbacks of, like, everything's in black and it's, like, really creepy. Yeah. It's very strange. Very strange.
And then it turns out it was all just, like, a ghost story that they're trying to tell around the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess before this, Bert has killed somebody.
Yeah, we got
shot a dude instead of a squirrel.
We buried the lead there. Let's talk a little bit about Bert. Bert is the avatar archangel of all frat douchebags.
He's played by James DeBello in the movie. And he is playing the part perfectly, in my opinion.
Yep.
You the whole movie, you hate that guy so much, and you just want him to shut up and I'm sure he's like a nice dude in real life. Yeah, this movie is like he's the most hated person for sure. He always he's the type of personality that, you know, immediately escalates things into the most horrible situation and makes everything worse without even doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna yell at you and call you stupid.
Stealing for no reason, wants to fight everybody, starts a fire.
Yeah, brought a gun.
Takes a gun.
A real gun, apparently, for whatever reason.
Yep. Yeah. He's a real shitbag. But him and the weird young deputy were both in Detroit Rock City with each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I was like, he seems vaguely familiar to me.
I liked how No, go ahead.
Sorry, this is... I checked it, but this was from the IMDb trivia. Bert's shirt, which says ripe on 6/13/04, is apparently the date that the Olsen twins turned 18.
Oh, God. He's got that shirt, and he's got a hat that says F you on it, some sort of school.
Yeah.
F you. Get it? You guys get it? Yeah, he's terrible. But
they hate him.
Yeah,
everyone hates him.
Yeah, I'm like, these people don't even really seem to like each other that much, even though they're on this trip. Like the couple that's having sex doesn't seem like they're really that far along in their relationship. Like the main character and the virgin Madonna
Karen
type girl, is like they're not even a couple, and then they have this guy that no one seems to like at all.
Yeah. He's just causing trouble from the very word go. He's hiding cigarettes from the girl and it's pretty bad, but he's the one who kind of kicks things off in a bad way when he accidentally shoots the hermit guy out in the woods. Herbert.
The Sherbert guy.
The Sherbert man. And that comes back to haunt them in a bad way.
Yeah, haunt them all, really.
Mm-hmm,
it's the same night, right?
Yeah, it's the same night. Grimm has left because it started to rain and went to go pack up some shit around. He says, I have $4,000 worth of gear around my tent. I need to go pack up. And it's that seems like a good way to get robbed.
Yeah, just leave it there? I would not.
No, just announce it to this group of people you don't really know.
That too.
And then he knocks on the door, and it turns out it was the hermit that Bert shot when he was out squirrel hunting.
Yeah,
this guy looked all fucked up, and it was the guy from earlier who had the dog whose insides were goop. Goop dog. I like when he first answered the door and Bert is trying to pretend he's gonna hide his face or something. Yeah.
He's so dumb. The guy does take a couple minutes to recognize it's him, I guess, but still.
Well, and then Bert immediately is he's sick, we gotta shut him out, we can't help him at all. And it's yes, I guess that it maybe is the smart thing to do, but there's really no evidence that this is an airborne thing, just from looking at the guy. The only reason shot him.
Yeah, the only reason he's saying that is because he doesn't want he assumes the guy will die from his wounds and not be able to tell people that he's been shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
he's don't let him in here because I don't want to take responsibility for shooting a man twice.
Yeah. But instead, some genius left the keys in the truck. So
yeah,
the hermit goes and tries to escape that way.
And so they all know I know what you did last summer, this man, and proceed to immediately hit him, stab him, and then set him on fire.
Yeah, it plays like a joke.
Everyone. Yeah, it's not Bert getting out of hand. It's they all get together and they're okay, we're all in. We're doing this.
Yeah. They're all get away from me, man! Get back up, man! Don't touch me! Don't come near me! And then next thing you know, he's on fire.
And they don't even make an effort to show it was an accident or this went wrong, somebody didn't mean to throw something or actually set him on fire. It's nope, this is fully intentional.
They were defending themselves. He did keep coming toward them or whatever, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
There's a difference between defending yourselves when you have a baseball bat and then setting him on fire.
Yeah. The girls at least feel kind of bad.
Ish.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Everyone else is just like, you fucked up my car. What the hell, man? What were you doing? Don't shoot
He did
the car.
puke blood all over the car.
Yeah. It was funny, though. They're like, get out of the car. And in order to do that, they're just like hitting the car with baseball bats and shit. Like, it seems like a bad way to go about that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the car is fucked, and they got to go try to find help nearby and see if someone could call a tow truck or something. And this is where we get that weird scene with the lady, like, killing the pig.
Yeah, I mean, they bail when they see that it's her brother or something that is the guy that they killed.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, just wait until she radios for help, you know? Like, how's she going to find out in the next 2 seconds?
It would have been fine. She's like, Henry knows about the ordinance. He wouldn't do that.
Well, didn't the other girl, like, canoe across the lake by herself to meet them there first?
No, yeah,
She met them at a different house, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She canoes across the lake, and then it turns out that they had both gone to the same place. But I think they just walked. Yeah, I don't know why she had to go all the way across the canoe.
They wanted to show her sexily canoeing.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
it does have that hilarious scene where she gets out of the canoe, and then it's like this slow motion, like, oh my god, a house, but like the camera's really just focused on her ass as she like walks up.
yeah.
I thought that was weird.
And then Bert steals some jerky from the house. Meanwhile, Ryder Strong is talking to the youngest deputy in the world, being real creepy.
Hey, party
real
man.
weird.
Hey, man, you got a party, man.
Got a party, man. Oh, you got a girl in there, and it's just like
This is like, yeah, this guy's a really weird character.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that all the cops in this have like their badges just look like they're wearing like sewn on badges on these jumpsuits.
They look like they're like a mall security force.
Yeah.
They look like security, yeah. I kept getting confused, being like, is that even a cop? Like, I thought maybe that was going to be a plot twist at some point, is that none of them were actually cops.
It was just
Yeah,
like they didn't have-
At the end of this interaction, he just hops on a bicycle and
Yeah.
rides through the woods.
Don't worry, party man, I got you. We'll get you a tow truck.
Yeah, and he's
out
just
here
and he's
right
just
away
like, yeah,
tomorrow."
man, just party on, like, just keep going. And it's like, and Ryder Strong seems confused why the girl that he's trying to woo wants to go home and doesn't want to be up there anymore. And it's like, because you killed a man.
Yeah.
You
Well, and
all
they say-
killed a man.
We'll get you a tow truck by tomorrow afternoon. It's like, that's not going to cut it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
this is bad. Anyways, he is so nice that he gets her a nice glass of water to calm her nerves.
Yeah, and the reason that we're seeing this whole extended water getting scene is because we find out right before that the dude, the hermit guy, has, who got burnt, wandered off and fell into, like a reservoir basically, where all the water for the town is coming from.
It just made me think like, thank God COVID's not in the water
Oh my
yet.
God.
Because I'll be like, shit.
This was kind of a bad movie to watch at this moment where we're being extremely germ-phobic and everything, because I was just like, this movie is so gross, like all the fluids going everywhere.
All the fluids going everywhere, and then like the one friend who I think they're trying to make him seem like a dick. He's just like, I'm not gonna be next interview. I'm not doing it. Like I like promoting the field. And it's like, no, he's right.
Yeah.
He was being a little extreme.
I love that scene when he leaves, though. It's so funny. He's like, not me. You're not getting, I'm not getting it. Yeah, I'm not getting it.
He just keeps putting a handkerchief over his mouth and
Yeah.
running around. It's like, I don't think that's going to work. But
It's like, you fucking idiots. Like, insist on touching her. Now your blood's all over you. Yeah. I thought his performance was really funny in that moment. But yeah, so Karen drinks the water. And that's where things really go downhill. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Not the murdering a dude part. Things get worse.
No, it's the water. Yeah. And so she becomes patient zero in the cabin. She's the first one to get the fever in the cabin.
Yep, and we find out through that gross scene we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and they all turn on her real quick.
Yeah, as soon as she reveals she's infected, they are all horrible to her. Even the girl, even Ryder Strong, they're just like, I mean, the two dudes are a lot worse, but I mean, they all agree to put her on a mattress in a shed outside and lock her in there for the entire night because she's infected. I'm like, okay, I don't care what the disease is. You don't do that to your friend or really anyone who's a human person. Like,
like, you know, her, wannabe boyfriend, Ryder Strong's character doesn't say any, like, he doesn't put up any fight about
put up a fight,
hey man, we should try to help her. Like,
so, like,
no.
wait, why can't the car drive at this point? Is it just that it's gross and they don't want to go in there?
They drive it's broken because they hit it or whatever, right?
They drive it later.
Yeah, but doesn't he like
he's
work on
fixing
it? Yeah, he works on it a bit. That Bert guy fixes it up.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, if someone is that sick, like, you just start walking. You forget the car, forget waiting overnight. That's not no good, you know? Like, it's just
you get her to a hospital immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? We all hope that we would do the right thing. I guess we're being tested right now slightly with COVID, and there are plenty of people in this country that probably think those two white guys were just doing fine and looking out for number one. But I hope that none of us would behave so horribly if the other was infected with a mysterious disease.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Here's your dirty mattress, Karen. Now get in the fucking shed.
And not only do they put her in the shed, and so they lock her in there with chains. It's like, is that really necessary? Like, you walked her out there. She was not happy, but she went of her own free will, you know? Like, and then they lock her in so she can't even get out if a dog is coming to attack her or whatever.
And I'm pretty sure we don't see any further scenes of anyone bringing her water or food or help
her out
or
to take a
anything.
pee,
yeah,
you know?
She's just in there to die.
Lying in her own excrement and like
blood and goop.
Yep.
Yeah. Real nice. Such good friends. Known her for 12 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Nailing it.
Yeah. So let's see. Blonde guy runs away.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what the fat guy did. He ran away for some reason. Oh, he drove to the convenience store, right?
Well, yeah, because he starts to notice that he also is getting sick.
Yeah, he drove away and just left them, even though he could have taken the girl with him at that point and gone to the hospital. But this makes the other girl sad. And,
so
when she's sad, she needs to be comforted.
You know, it just makes you want to, like, look to the closest person next to you and just, like, you know, rip their clothes off or whatever she says.
Rip their skin off.
Rip their skin, yeah, which is what he does to her, kind of. And this was so fucked up because, like, this is the point where...
If you want to see a joyless and emotionless sex scene, watch both the sex scenes in this movie.
Yeah, but this is the point where it's like, you know, if Paul was, like, a normal character, he'd be like, no, I didn't need to check on Karen, like, this girl that I really like. I need to make sure she's okay. Like, get away from me. Aren't you dating this other dude? And no,
or just like, oh, I know you're upset, but you're just, you know, you're not thinking rationally right now. Or whatever,
there's not one word said. The next scene is like them in bed having sex.
Yep.
And he even says, "Oh, you don't use condoms?" And she's, I forget why.
She says, "I'm healthy."
She says, "I'm clean," or something like that. Yeah.
No, she says, "I'm healthy," and then after they have sex, he pours Listerine on this.
Yeah.
To stop
because
STD.
I mean, what would that do?
They zoom in on it and it says like
kill. It
says kills germs.
It would feel like stingy.
I imagine it would not feel good.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't he go like when he does it?
Yeah, he does.
It's just weird. That's a weird scene too. Like, what is that about?
I think it was just, if it's a Cabin in the Woods movie, there has to be two sex scenes.
Yeah, but I'm like, is that supposed to be funny? It's played like it's supposed to be like a funny gag, him pouring the Listerine on himself.
And it's like, because he thinks that it's played as if he thinks she's a whore and that's why he's doing it. Like, not even really because of the virus.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's thinking about the virus at all in that moment.
Just like she's not thinking about the virus later on when she's shaving her legs.
This is the scene that like haunted me for a long time after when I first saw the movie and it's funny because going back to it in my mind, I thought that it was way more graphic than it is. Like it looks It looks a little
watching this
fakey. Yeah.
I was watching this with Abby, and she thought the same thing. She was like, I remember this being so much worse because this traumatized me ever since I saw it.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, oh my God, that was a gross thing. And it like, giving me like chills and stuff watching it. And just, I was not looking forward to seeing that scene again. But then, yeah, watching it now, it's like, oh, it looks really obvious like that it's just makeup and not.
Yeah, because the shaving doesn't actually cause any of the damage. She just kind of like uses the shaver to wipe away the cream, and then like, oh no, I'm injured. Like you keep thinking that you're gonna see her naked, and then that's gonna be really painful. But they just didn't have the budget for that.
And she just keeps going.
Yeah.
And I think it's
gotta look good.
I think it was more like at the time that was really. Shocking, I think. and I mean, it seriously that was like the one scene that I vividly remember from that movie. And maybe now, we're all just a little bit more desensitized to all that. So seeing it now is kind of like,
Yeah.
I just remember even the thought of it, like afterwards when I first saw it,
like,
was just like chills. I can't think of it. Yeah.
And then after this, Ryder Strong goes and spies on another person's house.
That was another weird scene.
Because like after he has sex with her, he's like, "No, I got to go take care of her now. I guess I don't know. We got to get her help." So he's like, then he's just looking into this room, and there's this woman who's completely naked using like a candle snuffer.
Yeah, she's like, "Time to go to bed. Let me turn off these three candles."
Candle one. Candle two.
Candle shotgun. Who you're looking at my wife?
I mean, and I get it. He's scared of the guy who has a gun. He runs away, but it's like your friend is close to death. Like, I think you stand your ground and tell the guy, like, no, really, like, you need to call an ambulance.
Yeah, he was like, I wasn't looking, like, whatever, like, even though he was.
Yeah. I like, too, that he runs out of there, like, and then, like, the very next scene, like, is cut with him, like, running that same speed back, like, and arriving at the cabin that it makes it look like the house was just, like,
right next door.
2 feet away or something. And he's like, "Oh God, I just almost got killed." Yeah,
insanity. If he had a Game Boy Advance, they had cell phones.
The rich guy had a cell phone, but it didn't work.
Just walk. To your point, just walk further. But I mean, this movie's not about logic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We do need to talk about my favorite moment in the movie.
Okay.
Which we kind of glossed over a little bit. There's the part when Bert goes back to the hillbilly, general store, and
it's like one of the most famous scenes. I think.
Yeah, and it's the same people there, and he gets out and he's trying to get everyone to get him help, and of course you got Dennis sitting on his bench there, and all of a sudden, Dennis looks up at Bert, and he's like,
"Pancakes! Pancakes!
No pancakes.
Pancakes!"
He screams pancakes, and then, like, what ensues is this insane, like, the music is like,
it's like slow motion karate.
And he's like doing this, like, he's doing all these kick flips and flipping around, and I'm just like, as Bert's standing there like, "Get away from me." And it's just such an out there, like, moment that I was like, I actually kind of love this because it's so fucking weird. And it's just like a trippy, this was another moment where I was like, this is some weird David Lynch type shit where it's just like, like, what is happening here? And then the kid, like, slowly gets closer, and the dad's like, "Dennis, no!" And he, like, bites his hand. He bites his hand, and then the look of shock on Dennis's face is awesome too, because all of a sudden he's like realizes that something's totally wrong.
He's like, "It's bad blood."
Yeah. And then there's this hilarious, like, "If you get Dennis sick, that's your problem, and if I get sick, that's my problem." I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, I think that this movie, we're getting to the point where I think the thing that's interesting to me about this movie is that, like, I think it's trying to do I think they thought that this was the coolest choice at the time. So it would be interesting to watch a movie, a 70s Cabin in the Woods movie, where everyone in the cabin were actually bad people. And like it turns out that like we ended up rooting for them to be killed. And then the people, you know, the evil hillbillies. I mean, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is this movie, right? Where it's like the people from the hillbillies are actually pretty nice people. And this movie kind of does that. Like at the end of the movie, they try to make it seem like, oh, they're normal. And then they're like, oh, the police are actually kind of corrupt and like they don't want to do anything. And it's like, okay.
Kind of corrupt?
Yeah. But then the movie ends with basically nobody being redeemable, and everybody ends up getting sick. Like, and I think that they think that that's like, whoa, like that's like that's the most fucked up, that's the coolest like film school like ending, and it's kind of just kind of cancels everything out for me.
So
everything just kind of cancels each other out.
Yeah, you bring up that everyone in the end gets sick, and that is through the mechanism of a child's lemonade stand.
Yes.
So while we're discussing Lemonade Girl, Lemonade Boy, and Dennis, let's do a child star check-in. Dennis is Matthew Helms. He had been cast in the movie. Apparently Eli Roth saw him practicing his karate or something and was like, wow, man, you're really good at karate. We should like let you do that in the movie. And that's how they came up with this scene. It was not like something that had been planned prior. So, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, okay, that's nice. Like, he did something nice for the kid, but, like, I don't know, whatever. But he grew up, and now he is actually a professional ballet dancer at the Boulder Ballet in Colorado and a competitive bodybuilder. And if you want to see, you can go to his Instagram at Ballet Cowboy. He is very, like, athletic, for sure. And he's, you know, throwing ballerinas up in the air. And
how's the hair looking these days?
It looks more normal.
Dang it.
It's no longer sun bleach, and it's short, probably for ballet reasons.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, he's done quite well for himself. Lemonade Girl, Jana Farmer, I'm not exactly sure what she's up to now, but at the time this movie came out, her local paper did an entire feature about how she got the scene and she was so excited, and her mom made her a scrapbook of pictures with her with Eli Roth and Ryder Strong and all the her dressing room sign and her scripts and everything. And she said that in the future she hoped to be a movie star because she liked playing all the different kinds of roles. Or her mom said she also wants to work at Subway because she likes the way they make their sandwiches.
Or
so either way, she was going to be an artist.
Yeah.
That was good.
And finally, Lemonade Boy, Dalton McGuire, I suppose grew up and became a police officer for the Winston-Salem Police Department in North Carolina. In September of 2018, he shot a 60-year-old black man during a routine traffic stop.
No. What?
And although also there's video, you can watch the video because they released it. No. He's got his body cam on, and right before he shoots the guy, the body cam falls off and points away so that you don't know how justified he was in shooting him. But the guy died. And
this might be the worst one. I know some of the kids have died, but this is pretty bad.
And there's been some domestic violence. There's been some grim ones.
Yeah. Oh,
Officer McGuire was resolved of any wrongdoing by, the police department's investigation. However, the police department did settle a $20,000 wrongful death suit with the man's family. So,
wow.
And apparently he is back on active duty, or at least was about a year ago.
Ugh.
So, yeah, Lemonade Boy.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh my God. Well, yikes. Off of that terrible news.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you even pivot from that?
Let's go back into blood and gore.
Let's talk about when Bert checks to see if his dick is rotting.
Just imagine me finding this, though. I'm like, all right, cool. Ballet dancer. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, this is a funny article. And then I'm like,
that's a cute Subway story. Yeah.
Oh no. My, no. Anyways,
one of the other
start check-in for this movie.
One of the other scenes I actually do remember too from seeing it originally is the scene where stupid Ryder Strong character Paul sees that the hermit's body has been, fallen into the reservoir. And instead of just being like, yep, that's probably him. I mean, I could tell from here that it's burnt, and I don't know who else's body would randomly be here, but no, he has to go and try to poke it and turn it over and maybe see if he can tell who it is. And in doing so, falls into this goopy, gross water. And that was another moment where I was just like, ew, 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 ew.
That is the moment. That is the most terrifying moment in the movie.
It really is. I actually yelled like,
yeah, because he's like,
it's really like, and like you've been next to like a scummy pond or something like that, and you're just like, boy, I really don't want to go in there. And yeah, that's my nightmare.
Not even a scummy pond.
If by some chance he had not already contracted the disease from the unprotected sex,
he got it.
He got it in the water.
Yeah. He super got it.
Yeah.
Super got it.
Yeah, so that was super gross. And he still has time to be like, oh no, a reservoir. And then run off to try to tell everyone.
And then he shows up all bloody at where the cop is really grossly getting underage girls drunk.
Oh, he did also discover that both girls had been eaten by the dog.
Yes. Correct.
That was so sick. Oh, there's a funny story about the dog. One of the funniest things in the behind the scenes is like they had originally a totally different dog called Jake the dog, who had apparently been in like the movie Black Dog with Patrick Swayze or whatever. And but this
that's the truck driving movie.
Yeah, but this dog was terrible, and then they had to like fire the dog and get the one that they have now. But they have footage. They have footage of the dog, the original dog, in there, and it's just like. Eli Roth is like, I just love that, I love that movie, and I was like, it can connect me to Patrick Swayze, kind of, and so I was like, I got to get that dog, but unfortunately I didn't look at any photos or video, and so they had the dog there filming, and it turns out the dog was like fat and like just super like happy and never got angry enough or anything for any of the scenes, so they have all these hilarious scenes of the trainer being like, growl, Jack, growl, and he's just sitting there like, and then everyone on set laughing, but obviously they fixed it in the end, but I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, and he sees that the slutty or girl she had been completely torn to bits, but the other girl was still like kind of alive, and so he like is gonna mercy kill her, but instead of just doing it with like the rifle that is in his hand, he decides to use a shovel and beat her head multiple times so that the blood splurts onto his face.
Yeah.
Well, he has to save the ammunition for the zombies. No, wait, the monsters. No, wait, his friends.
They're just regular people.
Nobody.
But you think you'd spare one bullet to put her out of her misery as quickly as possible.
You absolutely would.
She turned over and she was smiling, so I don't know what the problem was. She seemed happy.
Apparently that actress actually like had like close to a panic attack and started crying just when they revealed the makeup to her because it was so like disgusting.
The makeup was really cool in that moment, actually.
Yeah,
she's like super like the flesh has been eaten.
She
away.
looks like the Dead Alive VHS cover.
Yeah, it's like just her teeth. Yeah, pretty cool. What I did like we were talking briefly about that like weird underage party that the deputy is at, and this is another strange comedy beat in this movie where like there's all these people like playing guitar, and the one dude's like playing harmonica, and right when they like they get a call over the radio like, if you see this guy, shoot him on sight, and Ryder Strong's character starts to get closer, and they all start to fight. And the one guy swings a guitar or something, or a bat, and hits this dude who, for whatever reason, right while this fight is going on, is still playing the harmonica, like nothing's happening. And the harmonica goes into his throat, and then he's like, it's like he's choking on it, but you hear the harmonica like, like coming out of his throat the whole rest of the scene. And he's like, the end moment of the scene is him going like, and then falling over, yeah. Which was like, what? I did like the deputy's explanation about what happened with the tow truck too. That was pretty funny.
Yep. So yeah, after lying down in front of a semi truck, Sean finally gets to the hospital, and At this point, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening with this movie anymore. Is he hallucinating? Is it just this weird? We see a giant bunny costume man giving pancakes to Dennis, who is lying in the hospital bed. It's unclear how the reality of that situation.
That could be actually happening, yeah.
I did like that there were like people outside the hospital just like staring at his body that's been dumped there, and one lady like walks up, sees it, and just walks away.
Yeah, the guy in the wheelchair like turns
doctors
around.
come running out. Like.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah. What happens to him? The cops find out what's going on, and
he wakes up, and the cops are like, "You got to tell us where you got this disease," and they think that he's speaking nonsense because he just says something about the hermit man looking like Bert's burnt marshmallow, and they're just like, let's just kill him and dump him.
Yeah, the deputy takes him back out, and he gets dumped in the side of the.
And he's like, "Sorry, bro, I don't have a water. I only got a 40."
Yeah. Hey, party man. Looks like you party too hard. Yeah. And this is where we see the true face of the cops in the area as well, as they go back and totally cover their tracks and kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the one dude who only drank beer, was totally fine, goes to see all his friends are dead and does not react in a way like, my God, they're gone. He's just like, I fucking made it.
Yeah.
I did it. And it's like you're still at the scene of the crime. Like, I would get the fuck out.
The music
That's definitely going to be all of us, like, after the coronavirus. We're like, I did it, I made it. And then some, like, the earthquake is going to, the big one is going to come or something, or like a comet, or,
I love the way the music was swelling, like he had just, like, in a sports movie, like, yeah, and then he gets like totally obliterated by the cops when he goes outside.
Rightfully so, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That actor, by the way, apparently kept having some sort of eye injury like multiple times, and so he kept having to like go to the hospital, and that's why they like decided to not use him as much as the other
just have him
people.
like walk away.
Yeah, and also like because of him, they filmed a lot of the interior stuff that was supposed to be night, like day for night or whatever.
Yeah.
And that poor girl in the leg shaving scene, I guess, had to film it like in the middle of the night in cold water, and she kept arguing with Eli Roth about how much nudity there was going to be, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And, like, bummer. But yeah, that actor Joey Kern, the guy with the blonde hair. When I looked at his IMDb, I saw a sequel that, like, it takes a lot for us to say they made how many of those. Right. But this guy apparently starred in Easy Rider 2. And I was like, there's an Easy Rider 2? What?
Oh, boy.
So put that on our list for the future.
Still riding easy. Yeah, we'll get to it at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that pretty much brings us to the end. We get the whole town is doomed, and apparently they're shipping out like down home spring water to the rest of the world, and everyone's gonna get the flesh-eating disease.
Yep.
It's funny. Like every time our main characters came to the general store, there was nobody there. But at the end of the movie, it's like everyone and their mother is there.
Yeah,
it's like a party's happening. And there's
buying
band
lemonade.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what happened to Lemonade Boy, maybe racism was the virus.
Oh.
I mean, was there their method, and whether or not there were flesh-eating viruses in the water for the lemonade, I still don't think they should have been going to the creek and just filling up the water.
No.
I don't think that was a great recipe for amazing lemonade.
Yeah.
But did you see there was a post-credits thing too, Tyler? Did you actually see it?
No.
I did.
It's basically just more people. It's more people drinking the lemonade, and I think that's when the truck drives away, right?
Okay. Because I was like,
that's not the one I saw.
I was like, I don't remember them shipping it to around the world.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, I did watch the unrated director's cut, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that had that then. The after credits scene for me was just the old store owner going like, word, or like, and being like, I just can't say it like they can, or whatever.
Oh God! Oh yeah, that was not it. That was not even in my movie that I saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one that I saw, it ends with like more. It shows like even more people drinking the lemonade, and then like a guy hops in like a semi truck, and it drives away, and you see the semi is labeled like down home spring water, and it drives off, and you're like, oh shit, it's going everywhere.
Yeah.
Time for some sequels. Right.
It's true.
What?
True.
Yeah. Do you know what else is different in the director's cut?
I didn't. I looked at the list, and it didn't seem like a ton of like.
Does Eli Roth play yet another character?
No, it didn't seem like there was a ton of differences. Apparently, the director's cut was released on the back of like the popularity of Inglourious Bastards.
That makes sense.
He was in that movie, and he was able to be like, I want to put out my director's cut that originally played at TIFF. So
apparently, there's also a family-friendly cut.
I did watch that. There's a family-friendly cut where jokingly introduced by Eli Roth, saying like, "Oh, the powers that be said we should make a bunch of different cuts, and here's the family cut." And it's literally like 1 minute of them like driving in the beginning opening, and where they all have their heads on Ryder Strong's shoulders, and then it says the end. That's all it is. So
that's
totally
great. I had no
just a
idea
joke.
because I just saw it in like Ryder Strong's filmography or whatever, and I was like, oh, interesting.
It's totally
really
just a
funny.
joke special feature thing. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think there was just maybe a couple shots further of gore. Apparently, like the scene where Bert gets his head shut off. Like in the regular version, they just cut away. You don't see it actually happen. In this version, you can see it get blown up.
Oh, apparently that one of those hillbillies gets thrown in the basement too at some point.
Oh yeah, he does get thrown in the basement, and the cops come and shoot him. Yeah.
Yeah, because when the cops say, "Oh, there's another guy in the basement," you're like, "What?" But then they just don't address it, and then I guess they put it back in the director's cut.
Oh yeah, the director's cut. Like the first guy that they shoot, they pull him into the basement. Yeah, I did.
What was the deal with the box? I missed that.
Yeah,
I did try to look that up because I was like, yeah, what is that about? And there's all these people questioning like, what's in the kit? What's the kit? And there's all these. I didn't get it from the movie, but there are a lot of people posting like, oh, I think it was some sort of like inoculation thing because I think the hillbillies knew about the virus already. And I was like, I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so.
But he made the moment where he fumbles and tries to open it makes it seem like it's going to be some sort of weapon or something to protect.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to open up like there's a demon in here.
Yeah,
Marcellus Wallace's soul.
But I think that was just another odd thing that they had just to throw in there. I don't know. I don't think it says never been revealed on some of the websites. So I don't know.
All right. Well, I think it's about the time that we have to talk about how many hard to get cases of Arrogant Bastard IPA would you give 2002's Cabin Fever?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I kind of I don't hate this movie. I think it's I think he set out to emulate some of the films he liked growing up. Horror films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and everyone talks about that, and Last House on the Left. He even used some music from that movie in this movie, and I feel like he kind of lands that part of it. Because watching the movie, it feels kind of like of the same cloth, I guess, and even watching it now, it feels old. Like those movies feel old to me, I do think that I enjoy the gore, and like a lot of it is really gross, and I feel like that, that kind of is a success as well. But I do have to dock at some points because of the offensive stuff that is just very much further of the time. Unfortunately, still even at 2001, 2002 when this was shot.
and that'll always happen. We'll be looking back at movies from 2020 being like, ooh.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there'll be something now that we'll be like, huh?
But I just don't think it was even like funny or pointed in any way then. Like,
yeah,
it's just for shock value.
I think more so than now.
Yeah, definitely more so than now. I think it was still like, I know people. When that came out, I was just finishing high school, and it's like I know people
those characters would talk that way.
Exactly.
People were still saying,
gay
like
yeah.
that.
I mean, that's that, unfortunately.
So I think it was very much of that time, for sure. And so I'm going to docket some points for that, and I think I'm going to end up on 5 hard-to-get arrogant bastard boxes.
Okay. I'm going to say 3 cases of arrogant bastard driven in from San Diego. Just because, I really just didn't like. I agree with you that I did like all the gore and the really gross out stuff was cool and cringy and, made me be like, whoa, and that's like what you want from a horror movie. But I just thought that like everything that wasn't that was dumb and just like either offensive or stupid or just not well thought out. Like we said, like none of these characters, not that any of them have to be likable, but like maybe some of them should at least be humans that we might recognize, like these people were so horrible that you're just like, I don't know anyone who would act that way, even people I hate, like, so it's just kind of like they were very unrealistic and, and the offensive stuff and just the way the 2 girls are the stupid, Madonna horror allegory thing going on. And like, once you do anything slightly sexual, you get the disease and die. And it's just like, it was rough. I hope that, as we go on to see more movies in the series, and I'm sure I'll see more of his movies eventually, that he like gets just a little bit wider of a world view and sensibility. Maybe not, but and it just seemed very bro-y, like, because he's like, so, I can see that he's super into Quentin Tarantino and David Lynch, but like without that thoughtfulness.
Yeah. And I think that is, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I think, from what I've seen in interviews and behind the scenes, I think that is Eli Roth.
Fair enough.
That's how he is.
Enough, so
yeah.
I'm going to split the difference and say 4 hard-to-get cases of arrogant bastard. I think that there's definitely a lot of tribute stuff there. I think that it's stuck somewhere between something that's completely original and something that is a loving tribute. And I think he was trying to do both of those things. Like I said previously, I think that he thought it would be really cool and different. Like nobody would end a movie this way, where like nobody wins and like everybody is fucked up and evil. And I think that that's absolutely was the choice, and he thought that was going to work. And I think that that's a choice that hasn't aged particularly well, and it kind of ends up canceling out everything that's kind of there. But that being said, I think that there's definitely it's not from lack of trying. Like I think it's a pretty ambitious first film. I think that there's a lot of cool, crazy things in there, and there's certainly things that are memorable. But at the same time, there are times where it's asinine and there's times where it's just plain cruel. So I think I'm going to go with 4 hard to get cases. And I think that probably if I saw it in 2002, I probably would have been 14 and thought it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably would not want to have had a conversation with me.
Yeah. Despite what our opinions here, the movie was pretty successful when it came out. It ended up being according to Wikipedia at least, it said it was the highest grossing film released by Lionsgate that year, making $30.5 million worldwide, which I'm sure the budget of the movie was was very low. So, that looks like the budget was $1.5 million. So the movie was quite successful.
Oh, damn. Saw wasn't until 2004.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Damn. Okay. So there was nothing like this at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think it was pretty effective. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it.
So when do we get our sequel?
Our sequel, which is called Cabin Fever 2, Spring Fever, comes out all the way in 2009. So get quite a long time before
quite
it
a
comes
leap
out. Yeah.
Spring Fever. Well,
Cabin Fever, Spring Fever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't really sense any particular season in this one, so I don't know how setting it in spring will make it different.
It was summer. They got out of school.
Oh, yeah.
So now it'll be spring break.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe more of a like a
Island Fury.
a Jason Lake situation or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just looking. Don't look at yourselves, but just looking now to see when it came out, I did see who the director was, and
I did too. I just looked. That's
very interesting. So
don't tell me.
Yeah, I won't say.
Also, I see the star as somebody I enjoy very much.
Yeah, so I guess we'll be seeing what's happening in Spring Fever. I'm hoping that they can. I mean, the movie has a classic sequel setup where it's like, oh shit, now it's going to spread. Maybe not through the entire world, but at least further off in wherever state they're in or whatever. So it would be interesting to see that continue.
And I think we've seen, not just in the franchises we've done for here on Sequel Rights for the podcast, but also those that we've seen at Horror Movie Night or whatever. Like, if any genre has a real good chance to bounce farther forward than its predecessors, it's horror.
Yep.
I feel like there's a chance that the later sequels could surpass or outshine the original,
either in quality or just like audacious wild ideas that get thrown in.
So I am still excited to see where this goes. So in the meantime, you can email us any of your thoughts or questions to sequelrights@gmail.com or social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights. We're also putting the entire back catalog up on YouTube and Facebook video now. I'm trying to do one every couple days. So check that out if you prefer to listen on those platforms.
And rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you like this episode, I would recommend going back and checking out Chucky. We took a long run with Chucky last year, and they're some of our favorite episodes. So I recommend going back and checking those out. Possibly on YouTube, although I don't want to speak too soon.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week because we got more fever for Cabin Fever. We got Spring Fever this time. Cabin Fever 2. See you next week.